Would I get more tattoos? 100% yes. Hello, my beautiful people. I feel like I don't talk about this enough because honestly, I forget I have them. And I'm talking about tattoos. Yeah, as you can see, I have a lot of tattoos and this is just on my arms. Anyways, so I figured I would answer some questions that I get asked all the time about tattoos while I get ready. We're also getting ready in the new beauty room. If you didn't see my antique vanity video, you need to. So yeah, this is our new room where we're gonna be doing like makeup and what have ya. So anyways, let's get into the more pressing matter of everything, all the juicy details about tattoos. I'd say one of the questions I get asked a lot is what made me want to get tattoos in the first place. Honestly, since I was a kid, I have always wanted tattoos. My dad has tattoos, my mom has tattoos, my grandpa has tattoos, so like a lot of people in my family have tattoos. So it's just something that I always wanted because it was kind of the example I had. With my family, I kind of just grew up thinking that like tattoos were cool. And when I got older, honestly, just like tattoos became kind of therapeutic for me. I mean, I was planning my tattoos before I was 18. I had my tattoos planned out and my tattoo appointment booked. That was my birthday present for my 18th birthday, was a tattoo appointment. I got 2 tattoos on my 18th birthday. But enough of that. Going into the next question, do I ever regret my tattoos? This is probably one of the biggest questions I get all the time. Simply put, no, I do not regret any of my tattoos. All the tattoos I've gotten, they happened at like a point in my life where I felt like it was significant or had some type of meaning to me. Most of them anyways. I'm gonna be honest, once you start to get a lot of tattoos, at least for me, you kind of care less about the whole, it has to have a meaning, it has to have a story, and more so like, this is a fun tattoo. And kind of going with that question, would I ever have any of my tattoos removed? Yes. Now I know that kind of contradicts me saying like I don't regret any of my tattoos, which I don't. But like I said, all the tattoos I have pretty much like I got them because they meant something to me at the time and what have you, or they were like therapeutic to me. There's some tattoos in my life now where I'm like, I don't really need to be reminded of this, or I don't really want this. For instance, this tattoo, this is actually a cover-up tattoo and I got this in a very hasty moment because at the time I couldn't afford to have the other tattoo removed, so I just had my artist make this tattoo, which I love this tattoo. However, one day I probably am just gonna have the whole thing removed. So yeah, I would get some tattoos removed. Not all of them though. I can never stop being a tatted baddie. Another question I get asked a lot, especially for people who've never had tattoos, is how much does it hurt? And honestly, it depends on where you get it and how high your pain tolerance is. So like I have a pretty higher pain tolerance. So sometimes they don't hurt as much to me as like some other people. But I will say you can look it up, and I might try to bring it up on here. But there's normally like charts that can show you the pain scale. So like your feet, because your nerve endings are there, if you get tattoos on your feet, that's gonna really hurt. And then I'd say for my tattoos, this one hurt so bad and it bruised so badly. I was begging him to be like, hey, are we almost done? Your elbow hurts like a bitch. It hurts like a bitch. Okay? It hurts really bad. And like your rib cage is gonna hurt a lot depending on how big your tattoo is and how much ink you got on there. And I heard that like your calves hurt, but I haven't gotten my tattoos. I haven't gotten my calf tattooed, so I wouldn't know about that one. But I will say for me personally, anywhere on your stomach, anywhere, not just your ribs, but your whole stomach hurts so badly. Your inner arm and your elbow, and right here, the pit of your arm, I call this the pit of hell. The pit of hell. This little crevice right here, it made me want to square up on my tattoo artist. I was like, you're doing this on purpose. So yeah, if you have a low pain tolerance, I would not get tattoos anywhere near there. So another question is, how much money have I spent on tattoos? Whew, honestly, too much. But I would say if I had to guesstimate, thousands. Yeah, thousands. Especially when I got my sleeve. That's what really did it for me. because I'd say pretty much every session with my sleeve, just depending on how long it was between $400 and like $800 every single time. And I had a lot of sessions with my sleeve. So I don't know for sure, but probably 5,000, something like that. And that's honestly on the lower end. So another question I get is like, what is the average cost of a tattoo? And it honestly just depends on where you go, because you can get a cheap tattoo artist. Now, you might also get some cheap work done, or you know, you might just so happen to find like an apprentice or something who just so happens to be really good, and they charge less because they have less of a portfolio. But it also depends on like if you're getting it done in the city or not. So like if you're going to New York City or LA, like they're obviously going to charge a lot more than someone in, say, Savannah, Georgia. You know what I mean? Because their rent is higher, their cost of living is higher, and also if you're getting like a celebrity tattoo artist, they're obviously going to be charging a lot more than someone who tends to tattoo regular people like you and me. So for me, when I started seeing my artist who did most of the work on this arm, because I did have like patchwork done on here by a bunch of different artists, and then I went to my main artist and I was like, can you make this cohesive? Can you put this all together? And so he on average was like $400 to $600 per session for me, and that was like normally between 4 and 6 hours of work. So he, like, I feel like that's a fair price. That's a really fair price. Another question is, do I have a favorite tattoo? Yes, there are a few that I like more than others, obviously. And I would say that would be probably, I really like this one. It's like a sacred heart. I also love the skeletons on my forearm. I'm obsessed with these. This is probably like my favorite tattoo right here on my forearm. But the sacred heart, this, and then honestly just a lot of the detail on my sleeve. So, you know, like this deck of cards, you know, the little ghosty, the eye, pretty much all the tattoos on my arm I'm obsessed with that my main guy did. Some of the other ones that I just had random people do, they're not my favorite. And I do have a tattoo right here. I really like this guy as well. This is actually a cover-up as well, which is why it's like such dark shading and like kind of blocky, is because when I was 18, I got a silly little quote on my rib cage, because you know that was the thing then, and my 18-year-old self thought that a script tattoo was easy and that anyone could do script work, and that is not the case. So if you think you're just getting a couple words, especially if they're smaller and you're like, oh, anyone can do this, that is not true. You want to find someone who is like specialized in fine line work and script, because what ended up happening for me is that it ended up being raised, which is not good, and it bled. Take it from me, don't go to some random tattoo parlor just because you really want a tattoo. Please do your research. Please look at your artist portfolio, because some tattoo artists are better than the others. That's life. I recently posted a short about this, which I will link here. But what do I bring to a tattoo appointment? It depends on if it's going to be a shorter one or a longer one. If it's a longer one, my non-negotiables are I'm going to be bringing snacks, so like trail mix or anything that's easy to snack on and isn't going to cause a huge disturbance or like smell up the whole tattoo room, because, you know, let's be considerate of people, okay? A bottle of water, because not every tattoo parlor is going to have water for you, and you might get lightheaded, you might just get thirsty, and you're gonna want some water or something of the sort. I also always bring a sweatshirt or a hoodie or something, because sometimes I get cold in there, and then also it's great to act as a pillow, especially if you're laying down while getting a tattoo. And then headphones are another thing that I really like to bring. Have tattoos ever stopped me from getting a job? For me personally, no, and I have worked several different jobs. I've been a waitress, food runner, I've done retail, I've worked at a law firm as a receptionist, I've been a front desk assistant, and like none of those jobs stopped me. Or yeah, none of those jobs, my tattoos didn't stop me from getting any of those jobs, obviously. Now, I have heard of other people not getting jobs because of their tattoos, It really just depends, but I do feel like in the professional field, people are becoming way more accepting of tattoos. So I think it just really depends on where you're at. Like, I do remember one time my mom like wanted to get a tattoo on her wrist or whatever, and she was working at a dentist office at the time, and they personally told her that they didn't want her to do that. But that was like almost 15 years ago. So again, I feel like in the professional world, they are starting to accept tattoos more. So for me, no. Do people ever judge me for my tattoos? Baby, people are gonna judge you for everything in your life. Like, that's life. So yes, people do judge me for my tattoos. I have family members who judge me for my tattoos. I grew up in the South, predominantly in the US. So yeah, I was really judged for tattoos, still am. I can't tell you how many times I've had people be like, oh, you're so beautiful. Why'd you have to go ruin it with tattoos? Why'd you do that to your skin? You're so gorgeous. Why? Bitch. Anyways, so yes. Long story short, how do I take care of my tattoos though? So once your tattoos are like healed, you're gonna take care of them a little differently. And I do have Amazon links. I have a tattoo care Amazon link, and then I have like a body care Amazon link that you can definitely go check out, and I'll put that in my caption. But yeah, once your tattoos are healed, you are gonna want to moisturize them a lot, which I like to do with my skin anyways. Even if I didn't have tattoos, I'd be doing that. And SPF, baby. SPF, okay? And that is for everything, not just tattoos. But yeah, if you really want to take care of your tattoos and preserve them, you're gonna want to moisturize morning and night, especially after the shower. And anytime you're in the sun, not just the summertime, not just when you're on the beach. If your tattoos are exposed to the sun, put some sunscreen on them. Because once they're healed, it's just like your skin. But I will say also, like, it's going to happen a little less if you really take care of your tattoos. But like, fading is natural. It's going to happen eventually. So you might also have to get touch-ups, like, however many years, like 5-10 years later. If you want them to still be vibrant and still look good, you're probably gonna have to get them touched up. Unfortunately, getting tattoos is not a one and done thing normally if you want them to stay looking good when you're older. And last but not least, would I get more tattoos? Absolutely, positively, 100% yes. I'm wanting to get some tattoos before we leave Europe, because European tattoo artists, I swear, they're just on another level. I swear they are. So yeah, I definitely want some more tattoos. I don't know exactly what I want right now, but I do know my tattoo journey is not done. I'm not going to get another sleeve, I think. But yeah, long story short again, yes. So that is all the tattoo tea I have for now. I hope those 10 questions helped you if you're thinking about getting your first tattoo, or a few more, or if you were just curious about the tattoo world in general. I hope this helped. If you have any more questions, whether tattoos or anything else, please just let me know in the comments or DM me on Instagram. So yeah, you should definitely also hang out with me on my other socials. I do have TikTok and Instagram. It's a good time over there. You should hang out with me. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, guys, and I will see you next week. Love ya.